BuilderBot back for another Factorio short. As you can see, I've been a little bit busy. I had a massive overflow of some stuff and I needed to build to alleviate it. Right now what's going on is the income of all my random whatevers are coming in here. These things are just siphoning off the coal so it doesn't gum up the rest of the works. The coal is being funneled around the outside, underground over here, because it needs to pass by this, because this needs coal to run. But other than that, it's mostly just to skip, so the coal goes past and doesn't go through this whole area in the middle. What comes through the whole area in the middle is this thing is going to grab all the copper it sees, or some of the as it needs. This thing is this one is going to grab copper wire off of this one, as well as steel. Or iron, rather. The iron plate. And it's going to produce circuits. As the circuit track it produces is only so long, it will only produce until this conveyor belt here is full, after which it will immediately stop what it's doing because it's not going to overfill itself. Which means that now these are full, they're not actually grabbing anything. But as soon as this starts getting drained, they'll start producing again. As far as this splitter arrangement, a lot of these things take iron, but if they all grab the iron, then it doesn't get to the later ones. The splitter will split some of it down so that this thing does get iron, but doesn't get access to all of it, where some of it can bypass the other things. Some of the iron will split to this middle part, which means it can be grabbed by this, or this, and some of it would it bypass entirely over here, where it can be grabbed and stored. I think there it is, where it can be grabbed and stored, so that I can use it for my building. That way, that way I can have a lot of automation that uses iron, but I still have iron. It's not completely lost to me. As far as what else is going on, this thing is producing conveyor belts. Then it's transferred by this lawn arm. Well, to produce the conveyor belts, it needs gears and iron. This thing produces the gear, and it's passed over like that. Then this thing produces the iron, which is then passed by this lawn one into this box, and then from the second lawn one onto this conveyor belt here. It's then passed by this lawn one over to here, and by this over to there. The reason this is doing this is because this one needs conveyors. So when it's available, when it doesn't even run it now, but when it does, it'll grab these conveyors as they pass. Like this will pass, and the ones that it doesn't need get pushed through. Because these two are the other two that need conveyor belts as an input. So the conveyors rejoin the main route, which passes directly in front of these other two. Some of them miss, though, unfortunately. I might do a cleanup, which means I need one of these, and I'll use one of these boxes to put this there, and put you there, and tell you to grab conveyors. There. That way they won't just go looping. See, I missed a few here, and they're just going to go looping forever. And I should probably illuminate a bit. I don't need them to go looping forever. Either event, once these things get all their stuff, this thing produces green science, this one produces red science, and these two produce green science. So I have 3 different green science producers and 1 red science producer. The idea is to keep the science flowing. Partial downside is that the red science is actually lacking right now. Normally I need tons of green, but red is much easier to craft, especially on myself. This thing will produce this one was the dedicated gear that goes straight into here. This one also produces gears that can be nabbed by this one if it needs, and if it doesn't, they'll just go past for this one to nab. Unfortunately, that also means that this one isn't doing that great as far as having actual supplies of gears. I should probably do that, actually. I will need an assembler. It will need to be somewhere where it can get a feed. of this iron supply that I have. Okay, that works. If I would tell you to produce gears, and I give you an input from here, it'll grab the iron and produce gears, and then I can have my output here, and that'll produce gears that can be grabbed by this thing. Alright, so now we have yet another gear producer here. So you have 3 different gear producers. One whose gears are transferred through to make conveyors, which they transfer through to supply the green science producers, Science Path 2 producers. One gear converter that supplies this assembly machine, which will build the inserters that are required by the Science Path 2s. I don't know why the Science Path 2 converters require inserters and transporter belts, but that's what they require. So that's what we need to give them. And now I just built a 3rd gear matron, which will supply gears to these other things as needed. Apparently it doesn't need as much as I'm seeing gear flow through here. That's less than good, but it's not grabbing all the iron either, so that's fine. As long as some of the iron is getting through, that means it would have put into the... Why does it say... It would have put into the chest here, and I'll be able to have access. And some of the conveyors are going through, too. Yeah, so those are the ones, the conveyors that fed to him first, but if he doesn't need it, they go up here. These ones grab it, but if they don't need it, it just goes through. And my cleanup picks it up. Yeah, I'm trying to clean up the excess circuitry too, because before I just had the circuitry and everything else on the main path, but that contributed to the gum up. As you can see over here, I have very, very busy conveyor belts. This is the iron supply, and it's very gummed up with coal, which I'm hoping to get away from. These things are the only things around here that need coal. I need coal for the furnaces and the boilers, which means I'm still stuck on this stuff. I'd very much like to get out of it. I mean, right now, it's blocking my supply of copper almost entirely. That's why I have this split off thing. Instead of just continuing the path, I have an arm that's grabbing coal. So the only thing that comes down this way is coal. Nothing else that prevents this path from being gummed up at least a little. Down here, there's the coal fired that boiler, and the copper mines. As you can see, though, they're gummed up to hell right now. They're not moving at all. I mean, they're moving a little. Every now and then there's a gap. Just a matter of this stuff needs to be cleared. Maybe I should use... I can't split off the coal. Well, I'll figure that out later. Anyhow, this is my current construction. I'm hoping you're enjoying the wacko-ness I'm producing. And remember to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!